All right, lesson 15:8, reading scatter plots. So the graph below shows the ages and prices of 15 used cars at Sam Wheel and Deals. And we're going to describe the prices of the older cars compared to the prices of the newer cars. So when we're looking at dot plots, or scatter plots, we're looking at them more based on almost a coordinate grid point, because you have your X and your Y. And then you can kind of see your dot plots, right? So like at 1 year old of the age of the car, they cost $20,000 and 20, that's right about in the middle, so like $21,000, or a little closer to $22,000. At year 2, they're a little above $18,000. At year 3, they're right at $18,000. So you're using this like you would your coordinate grids, and you're finding out what each plot means. Well, if we look at it, what is happening? Well, as the car gets older, right? It starts at 1, goes to age 10, the price is decreasing. So we're going to talk about the word trend. And I've kind of mentioned this before. What is the trend? Is it a positive trend, a negative trend? So in this case, we are looking at the overall trend, or the pattern that we see happening here. And the pattern that we see happening would be, as the car gets older, the price decreases. So that's going to be our trend. That's our pattern. That's what we're seeing there. So when we're talking more about how to read it, a scatter plot is a coordinate graph that shows paired data. The scatter plot shows the heights and weights of some 5th grade students. Notice that in general, as the value along one axis increases, the value along the other axis also increases. So if you'll notice, our numbers are getting higher here, and then our numbers are getting higher here. This suggests that and then if you look here, as we're looking here, this suggests that the taller a student is, the more she weighs. So as the height is starting to increase, you'll see that it starts to go up on the graph, which is opposite of what we saw earlier. So when a point lies in a pattern, the two sets of values have a trend. So those go together. So this is going to be a positive trend because we're going upwards. As the height gets higher, the weight gets higher. Now, you may be noticing these things right here. That's called a break in it. That way you don't have to start. You can see it's counting by tens, but they didn't want to start at 10 and have to go 10, 20, 30, 40 because there was nothing there. The first value is going to be 50 on both sides. So they broke the chart in order to have it start at 50 and not have to count by 50. So that's what that means. So now in this scatter plot, as the value along one axis increases, so you see this is going up, the value along the other axis decreases. So it's kind of going in that downward pattern. So this scatter plot shows a trend of a negative, or decreasing, because as the bag of food gets larger, the price decreases. So as the bag of dog food gets larger, the price will decrease. Okay? Now, in this scatter plot, you'll see there's no relationship. And the relationship is the age of the student versus the number of sisters that they have. So there's really nothing there. So data where only whole numbers are possible are called discrete data. And this scatter plot does not show a trend. So when it doesn't show a trend, it's just data. It's just there. So we don't have anything here. So let's look at number 1. What information is shown on the horizontal axis? Remember, horizontal has that H, so it has that line in the middle, so it's going this direction. A horizontal axis is also our x-axis. The information there is time in minutes. What information is shown on the vertical axis? Vertical goes up, so that's going to be our y-axis. And that's going to be the quiz score. Oops, put an extra E in there. So what does the point 15, 10 represent? So if I go 15 and I go 10, I'm going to see that that's 15 minutes made a 10? So if they only studied 15 minutes, they only made a 10 on the quiz score. And then is there a trend in this scatter plot? Well, there is a trend in this scatter plot. It's saying that the more you study, right, it's going higher. As you can see, it's going up. So the more you study, the higher the grade becomes. Okay, so let's continue down. What information is shown on the horizontal axis? Okay, well, this is recital practice time. So we have practice time. And what's on the vertical axis? Mistakes. How many mistakes did the student who practiced 10 hours make? Go ahead and try that one real quick. How many mistakes did the student who practiced 10 hours make? Practice time, 10 hours. Go up on 10 hours. We're here. That's 2 mistakes. How long did the student who made 3 mistakes practice? I'll give you just a minute. Mistakes 3, over to the dot and down. Well, this is in the middle. So in the middle of 4 and 6 would be 5. So 5 hours. How many mistakes were made by a student who practiced 12 hours than a student who practiced 3 hours? So at 12 hours, they made 1 mistake. And at 3 hours, which is kind of in the middle here, they made 5 mistakes. So how many fewer? That means I'm going to subtract. That's 5 minus 1, which gives me 4. Okay. One last one. Number 11. What is the most likely cost of a 50-inch TV? So check your TV prices. And what do you think 50 would be? Looking at that trend. What I like to do is I like to go ahead and plot each of those things. So I'm going to go to 50 because it says 50 here, and I'm going to plot 500. I'm going to plot 750. I'm going to plot 1,000, and I'm going to plot 1,250. And I'm going to kind of look at my trend. I also kind of like to draw like an arrow to kind of see what direction that's going, and then I can pick which dot's the closest. Well, it looks like this dot's the closest, which is 750. So my answer is B, 750. All right, head over to your Savas and take that now.